Hi, I'm Annika Johnson from Al Johnson's in Sister Bay. I hope you enjoy my new video series called Door County Girl. These are stories of my life, the people and places that I love, and of course how we all survive here in northern Wisconsin. You can come back as often as you like, but don't forget to subscribe to Al's YouTube channel. I'll be posting lots of really cool new videos. So let's go! Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Door County Girl. Today I'm here with my brother
Lars.
Yeah, not Rolf, Lars. Rolf and I are usually doing their cookie shows together, but today Lars and I are going to talk about the goat parade, which is sort of relatively a new thing. I think it was started originally by John Nelson back in around 2014.
It was.
It was small, and it had nothing to do with the restaurant.
Correct.
So give us a little story about that.
Well, I can kind of recall having conversations with John Nelson about, people are always asking how we get the goats on the roof and when are the goats going to be on the roof for the first time. So he thought it would be a great idea if we come up with a goat parade. And I kind of looked at him like, I don't know about that. And it turned out, I think the first year we did it, Rolf was the head goat herder at the time and brought one of our star goats, Inky, who was just a real magical goat. And he was the star of the parade, but he was the only goat.
Well, I almost want to say that was the second year, because the first year, I remember Chrissy Bergwin and a whole bunch of ladies, they met down here on the corner, and wasn't it real miserable weather?
Sure.
It was pouring rain.
Yeah, and, that's always a problem.
Yeah, it was like dumping buckets, but they all showed up, and they still had this like weird little mini goat parade. And then the next year we had it, Rolf was the only one that showed up.
Solo goat.
With Inky.
That's right.
He's about the size of a deer.
Correct.
He's a pitch black, and he was never able to go on the roof because he's a little wild.
And he was just too big,
Yeah,
so
and he's a little skittish.
Correct.
But he was the boss of the goats up at your corral.
Definitely the boss.
But anyhow, I remember Rolf got a lot of flack from that because they all thought, oh yeah, the Johnsons are having their goat parade and nobody shows up. By the way, it really wasn't Al Johnson's Swedish restaurant goat parade. It was the village's goat parade, and Rolf was the only one that showed up. He was a good sport. He was there with his goat, everyone. We was wondering where everybody else was with their goats.
Well, I think
so I got to stick to his guns because that's his story.
Well, I think what we learned from that though was that everybody wants to see a goat, and everybody loves a parade.
Yeah.
So we realized that it was time to focus on this a little bit and spread the word to all the fellow goat farmers in the area. And what we quickly found out was in the state of Wisconsin, there are more registered goat farms than any other state in the United States.
I did not know that.
And I think one of the reasons why that happened is because during the downturn in the economy, a lot of people decided that they were going to have small hobby farms. And getting into goats was an easy thing to do at the time, and it's really expanded. And I think people that have gotten into raising goats it's been a real rewarding and loving experience. And to watch, now I've had goats at our farm since 1980, and it's just been a great way to raise a whole herd. And we've had a lot of success with Jesse Johnson at the creamery when he had a huge herd. And so some of the goats that we have today came from Jesse and other goat farmers in the area. And we've been able to rescue goats. And we try to keep our herd at around 30 goats because that's about the right size for our barn.
And interestingly, when he says 30 goats, most of them are companionship for each other because only about 6 go on the roof or 5, but the rest of them just are there for being each other's buddies and pals, something to do when they're all hanging out at the barn. And I do know a lot of horse owners tend to get a goat if they have an only horse because they're good company.
Yeah, goats are really, they get to the point where they become a huge family. And even when you introduce a new goat, it takes a couple of days for them to accept the new one.
They have a pecking order.
But they do finally, and then if one is missing, they might wander off out into the 40 acres and they'll beller, so they're always bellering, looking out for each other. And just raising and being around goats has been a really great, rewarding experience.
Yeah, I know in the beginning it was hard when we first started having them there because we get so attached to those ones, and then the ones that don't make it sometimes, it's heartbreaking. But then you realize there's other goats out there that need homes, or a lot of them yours were rescues. You drove far away to pick some up.
Correct, yeah. And I can recall back in the early 80s and even going back to the late 1970s when we used to store the goats at a winter barn while I was going to school, and I'd come back in the spring and it was like
where they were sick.
Yeah, well, winters are tough and in Wisconsin, but what I do know, when you're raising goats, they got to have a lot of fresh air too, so you can't leave them in a closed barn environment. So when it's a nice sunny day, even during the winter months, they want to be outdoors. They're just like the rest of us. They don't want to be cooped up all the time. And so our goats are treated better than I believe most people. They're pampered, and they love they have 40 acres to roam.
And it's interesting because I noticed that if one catches a cold, they all catch a cold. So
Yeah.
hence kids spread germs, and our irregular kids, but goat kids, being all together and stuff, spread germs and catch colds.
Sure,
and, things like that.
And Door County too, we're pretty blessed that we have some great goat veterinarians in Door County.
Yeah.
So we have they get seen by the goat vet usually 2-3 times a year because of vaccinations, and there we go, we're talking about vaccinations again, and they get vaccinated as well. So it's important to keep your herd healthy, because if you don't, things can turn pretty tragic in a hurry.
Yes.
But frankly, what's really great is when we do goat parade and we get the goats all set up for the first time, they're wondering why we're putting collars on them and we're walking them with leashes.
Yeah,
so it's real fun.
And we recruit kids.
And
we're like, hey, grab a couple kids, and we grab a couple of Jesse's goats, bring a bunch of goats down, let the kids walk through the parade with them. It's a good way for kids to get involved with,
exactly.
a goat.
And
most of them have never really pet a goat before or seen a goat.
And for the most part, when goats are around humans, they're pretty docile, and they love the attention and the affection, and they just like to be around other people as well as other goats. And what's real fun too is that now that we're into our 8th year, is what we've noticed is that people are starting to hear about this all over the Midwest, and they're calling to ask, can we bring our goats? And we said, absolutely.
Bring them.
The more goats, the better. And I kind of chuckle about this because now I'm seeing humans dress up as goats, and I know you love my goat hat.
Oh, and my goat headband. Lars was wearing a goat hat, so I got jealous. I had to get a goat headband in the boutique.
And it's fun to watch all the people dress up in costumes, so it's kind of like our Mardi Gras. So it's people are dressing up and want to participate, and everybody loves a parade.
And everybody likes a weird parade. I mean, not many people can say they've been to a goat parade.
That's right.
And you know what? It might be a blink of an eye parade, because the goats just go from one spot to the other spot, but there's plenty to do afterwards, because we have our little goat festival right here at the Stabur next door. And when is goat parade? 11
a.m. The goats will begin the march from Mill Road, which is right in front of the Door Hotel, and right by Grassy's.
Yeah, so if you want to bring your goats, you need to get there a little earlier. Anyone can participate. Bring your goats. Bring your kids to walk your kids. That's a great way to get involved. And then afterward, everybody likes to congregate down here by the Stabur, which is our bar next door. And you get to pet the goats, talk to the owners. They'll tell you a little about the breeds of the goats, things like that. But there's a lot of festivities going on over here.
There is, and there's one important thing during the parade that's real fun, because we're a real big sponsor and supporter of the food pantry here in Door County.
Yep.
And what we've been able to come up with, similar to regular parades when there are horses, we have a goat dropping. And so people buy stickers, and then
goats are pooping all the time, people. All the time.
And you buy your sticker and you place it on the asphalt
road right out here,
on the
yeah.
asphalt and you hope that the goat does their business on your sticker, because if they do, you're going to win the grand prize. And we'll have a lot of prizes this year. And
what's the grand prize?
Well, I think last year it was a great bike, great bicycle.
Oh.
And so I'm anticipating, where I know our wonderful marketing team is working on getting some really great prizes together, and so it'll be fun to do that. And then jumping forward, once we get to that point and we get the goats into town, we march them back to our path where we take them up on the roof. So you do get to see them come up onto the roof, and hopefully it's a beautiful day so they can spend the day on the roof. And once they're on the roof for the whole day, then all the festivities begin at Stabur,
yeah, at Stabur.
Next door to the restaurant.
So we have live music, right?
Great live music.
I know that we have a pancake eating contest because I'm the winner. Winner. And I could win every year, but what good would that be? Because then I would win my own gift card. We have also a Stein holding contest, which I entered. I thought, well, that looks easy, and it is not.
It is not easy.
Not easy.
So you're like,
you've got a big, hefty
skull
stein that's very large, filled with beer, and you've got to hold your arms straight out until the time runs out. I forgot how long it is.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, if any of you have ever done those presidential awards in high school where you have to hang at the bar and you like start to shake like this, I mean, your arm starts shaking and you just, I mean, it looks so easy, but everybody dropped out but this one small guy. I mean, you don't have to be the biggest guy to do it. This guy just stood there with his stein and just acted like nothing was...
and he had ties to Washington Island.
There was like 25 of us.
And then we actually have a local dentist that always is near the top as well, so Dr. Sledge.
And come in and try it. It's very interesting.
So he too. And then, of course, the great pancake eating contest that you seem to win every year, or at least in the top 3 or 4.
I'm always the winner. I just slow down and let someone else win.
Need lots of water.
I'm a big eater. I'm a little person with a big appetite.
But it's great fun activities during the day, and it's really a great family event, and that's what we want it to be, a real fun family event, and something that you won't see anywhere else, because I don't know if there's another goat parade in the United States or even in the world, but we have our little own running of the goats right here in Sister Bay.
Which is hilarious. You know, when you're here, it's packed with people. One year I was thinking, boy, it looks like Fall Festival out there. Yeah. We were kind of looking from the roof down and up and down the street, or someone had a drone, I think.
Yeah.
And we were checking it out. I swear to God, the street looked like it was packed like Fall Festival is. For the one time we had a big goat parade, and actually lots of goats showed up on that one.
I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to spring and then June. But come early, get your spot, park in our parking lots, park on the street. Bring your whimsical goat costumes.
Yeah, wear your dirndl if you want.
Turn it into a fun family event.
We have a couple that comes every year and they wear their little gnome costumes.
Exactly.
What are those called? Those retro gnomes. Yeah. The girl and the guy. And they always come and they're fun.
There's a lot of Viking costumes.
Yes, Viking costumes, Viking braids. And if you forget a costume, you can always get yourself a little goat hat or a Viking.
Buy your goat hat here at Al's.
Yeah, we have Viking helmets, things like that. Also, if you're worried about food, Sister Bay is a really good walking town, so there's all kinds of places up and down the street you can grab a little bite to eat. Our little kitchen is always open out by the bar. It's called the Shuck, and we serve, easy peasy, fast meals. You can come in and dine at the restaurant. There's a nice window seat here if you're lucky enough to get it and check out the ambiance next door.
And lots of shopping in Sister Bay. So we want, Sister Bay is the place to come and work and play.
Yep, you just walk around, enjoy the marina across the street, things like that. I mean, you can pretty much walk to everything.
Exactly.
Up here.
Sister Bay, Best Bay.
Best Bay and Sister Bay. What am I? Where nature smiles for miles and miles.
Still on our on our envelopes.
Well, anyways,
it's a good slogan.
We love Goat Parade, and if you have a goat and you want to come and you bring it's a great thing to do for the day. It's always weather permitting. Meaning, I think we have it rain or shine, don't we?
Yeah, pretty much now. But you know, the goats themselves don't like to be out in the rain. But you know, hopefully it'll be a great day, and the rain comes and goes when it does come. So I anticipate that we may have, if it's a bad weather, we may delay it for an hour or two, or move it up. But it really it'll depend on Mother Nature. But
and
she'll
I would think
cooperate.
the way is to check on our Facebook page or on our website at aljohnsons.com, and I'm sure they would put updates on there if something had to happen.
Sure.
Where we couldn't have it, because I know at COVID one time or so we could not have it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, is there anything else you want to tell us about the goats?
Go goats!
Go goats! So everybody come on in, enjoy our goat parade with us. I know Lars and I will be here working, and I'll end up eating in the pancake contest because I'm so ladylike when I do it. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Door County Girl. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll have all kinds of other fun videos for you guys to enjoy and learn some good information about, like Goat Parade.
Goat Fest, Goat Parade,
Hey-do,
go goats!
hey-do, go goats!
Hey-do.
Woohoo! Thanks for watching Door County Girl. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.